Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do We Know Them? Episode 242. I feel like we've been approaching 250 for a while now. It's going slow for some reason.
Yeah, I feel like it's close, but also like 3 weeks away, which is a lot of episodes in this town.
In this town.
Yeah. I'm a little loopy today. How are you?
I've just been in kind of a weird mood. It's kind of overcast.
Oh.
And I don't know, I feel like we've been very busy. I mean, we announced last episode that we have officially started doing our short form content.
The comments on there are so funny. People are like just very supportive, but also like on the daddy-daughter one, people were pretty pissed they had to watch that one again. They're like, listen, you bitch. We already had to watch it once.
Surprise!
Or there was some people that had like skipped that topic and then it found its way to them anyway. And then one person said, I thought I was safe because I listen on Spotify. Nobody's safe. Okay.
We're gonna find you. No, I actually, though, they're doing like decent on Instagram. We have like, I think like 8,000 followers or something.
Yeah, TikTok's kind of a flop, but I kind of love it. Like, I love being in our flop era.
But that's the thing. I was like, but I'm very curious to see how the coming weeks, how things play out.
I'm very optimistic.
TikTok. If it's just going to be like forever a flop, or if like we'll randomly like have something.
Follow along our social media journey, see if we flop or not. I kind of love it. I really do. It's like, because it's not like high stakes. Like, we're not like relying on it for anything. It's just like, let's see what happens.
We've always said we don't want to go viral. Like, that's never our goal.
No.
That terrifies us. And even when we started the podcast, we're like, we don't need 1 million subscribers. We just need like a good, steady, like couple 100,000 max. And I feel like we've actually we're like about
couple
there.
100,000.
Right?
We'll take that, of course.
Well, no, but like compared to like our previous ventures,
I'm gonna be honest.
That's like
right
much
now,
lower than.
I love where we're at. I love that we have
that's what I said. I feel like
such a solid
reached
group.
The goal we had.
Yeah, like right now, I really don't want it to get better than this. Like, I like where we're at. Yes, it could be high pressure because, I mean, 100,000 people minimum watching every single episode is very intense, but it's still in a manageable sense where it's just like, okay, like friends, right? And in general, in life, friends can like agree and disagree with each other and you can just like move on. But you can't have 1 million friends. You know, it's too many fucking friends. So it's just like,
exactly.
It starts getting crazy.
That's what, like in the past, it was like too many opinions coming out. Like, I mean, it was like testing stupid beauty products. So the stakes weren't very high.
Clever? Yeah.
Yeah. But like, that was like millions of people watching. And like, usually people were like pretty nice, but it was still overwhelming to like look at comments and stuff. I feel like our goal was again, like to get like just a modest couple 100,000, which sounds stupid, but like, cause we're not trying to be like millionaires. Like,
no.
I mean, if we became millionaires, wouldn't be mad.
I'm not going to stop anybody from making me a millionaire. No, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, I don't even want to be a millionaire.
No to the money.
I just want to like support my family and have a fun job.
That's the thing. I was like, I just want to like be able to afford food.
Yeah. Well, luckily you've been able to do that for a hot minute now. It's been a long time since you had to ask me for In-N-Out allowance.
That was such a rough time.
You know, but you
like, thank God. Thank you for paying me. Not paying, lending me money.
No, I mean, I feel like you would do the same for me. Had I texted you and you had it, you would have lent me In-N-Out money.
My mom would do the same thing. Like, because I really like when I would ask for something, I wasn't like, oh, will you transfer me $100? It was like,
oh girl, it came with a paragraph.
So
it had like, yeah, you asked for like the minimum. I feel like most of the time I would send you a little bit more because I'm just like,
well, that's what I was gonna say.
Send you $10.
And then you did what like my mom does, where it's like I asked for like $8 and then you send me 20, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like I've hit the lottery.
Oh,
I can buy food tomorrow too.
If you guys are new here, that was Lily's pretty much first year of this podcast, was like really struggling through, and like there was a lot of situations. I mean, even during filming that we'd have to navigate that were really intense for you. And you know, I don't know why we're talking about any of this, but I always love to talk about it because I love what everything has turned into, and I'm so grateful for everything.
I feel like during that time, it wasn't like just because I didn't have any money that we were like, we're not trying to make a ton. We just like want to be comfortable. And I joked, I think probably in the beginning, that I just wanted to be able to like afford to live. And I'm just like really grateful that now that's like we're
not
at
only
the point
can you afford to live, you can afford all of your home decor that you hoard in your kitchen cabinets.
She's not kidding. There's literally Christmas decor.
Don't open
in like places where like
home.
You would think that pots and pans are going to be. Nope.
It's a Christmas tree. Surprise.
No, I'm kind of taking a pause on my decor because I've just been so busy.
A minimalist queen? Amazing.
Oh, no. There's still shit everywhere, but I have like picture frames that I got. I really need to print out pictures that I like want to have framed, but in instead right now it's just like families, people that I don't know. And I'm like,
all you need to do if you're wondering if Lily is a minimalist queen or not is look at her bed and her 75 pillows that live there, and you'll know who she is as a person. And I love that for her. Now me,
it looks good.
I have one pillow and that's the one I sleep on. I'm just like so anti-throw pillow because all I think of is my kids' little Cheeto fingers touching you know what I mean?
See,
I told you I can't have nice things.
It's ever since I have transitioned to like the studio apartment kind of setup where everything is just
like
out
that's
in the
part
open.
of your living room.
Well, it just makes me feel better when it's all clean.
I love that for you. Speaking of, no, I don't know what I was going to say. Speaking of that, Katy Perry went to space. Do you remember?
We're so late to the game on that.
No, we're not. We're right on time.
We're talking about other stuff too. So there's a reason that we're bringing this up as well. But yeah, I honestly wasn't really following it that closely while it was happening and didn't really see much about it until it was like overwhelmingly memed.
Well, so the reason we're here today, it was originally going to be to cover Katy Perry on tour. If you don't know, Lily is a lifelong, for as long as pretty much Katy Perry has been around, you have been a stan of her. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but it's in the and not just because of
don't
like
backtrack now, Queen. Just own it.
No, well, seriously though, it's like the last 2 albums. It's been like,
I don't want to get wrecked in the comments, but that's how I felt when Miley Cyrus, like right after Wrecking Ball, and like she did the Dead Pets album and stuff.
Kind of
I literally was like, my world is crumbling. You don't understand. I had an entire wall of Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus. Like she was like my life.
When you like everything they put out prior to that, and then suddenly they put something out and you're like,
the fuck is it? Who is this? Like I'm all for trying something new, but now you've gone off the deep end and I'm no longer interested. And I don't know what to do with that information because I loved you so much.
Right. And like she has had some also like random problematic things pop up here and there, just like weird things. Yeah. And I think she's been kind of cringy in recent years. But like, even just if I was focused on the music, it's just like Teenage Dream was like the best album of all time.
And it was. I think it's like one of the most highly like awarded albums.
It's all Benny Blanco.
By Taylor?
Pretty much.
Oh, I thought you said it's all been blocked out pretty much.
Oh, no.
I was like, who did that?
Benny Blanco produced most of it. And then Bonnie McKee wrote most of it. I don't know
God, Benny Blanco must be so freaking rich. Yeah.
Literally, when you look at his list of like his discography, if you would call
it.
Basically all of his credits for all the songs he's made.
Insane.
It is insane. The period from like 2008 to like 2015 especially was like
probably enough to set him up for life.
Yeah. That was like my favorite album of all time. And I saw her in concert multiple times. I got to meet her finally.
I saw her in concert too. I don't know which album I went for. I think it was Prism.
Which honestly, I feel like not as popular as Teenage Dream, obviously.
I loved
it. Loved Prism.
Yeah.
Like I loved a lot of her albums after that. And then I finally met her during the Witness era when she like did that whole fucking weird 24 hours and she was in that house being filmed constantly.
Don't recall. Some of my favorite songs though, honestly, of like all time, like if I had to list them out, she would definitely be on there for like top 10, but not for Teenage Dream. It would be for things like honestly Daisy. I really love Daisy. I love Never Really Over. Like there's so many songs of hers and I'm like, oh, that's such a good fucking song.
I mean, even I was just in the car earlier and like Part of Me came on. Fucking love it.
Yeah.
Like they were just like really solid songs. And I just like really like her voice. So it felt like anything she came out with, great. I don't know what the fuck is going on now.
Okay, so that's why we're here. So I had mentioned on a Patreon poll that maybe we should do something about Katy Perry's tour because it's all I see on my For You page and I've been sending it to Lily. I was tentative at first. I wanted to shield you from it, you know, to protect your heart.
Yeah, there's no shit. It's everywhere.
And then I sent it to her and she's like, yeah, I know. What the fuck is going on? I'm like,
no, I've honestly been like confused.
Yeah.
Bose texted me some of it and Bose didn't even know that I like was a big, I'm not going to say former kid. Like I still have hope that maybe
I love that for
come
you.
out of it.
What is she in like psychosis? Like, what do you think she's going to come out of?
I don't know. But that's my point is like, I don't know what the hell is going on, but I'm like, who's that? What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, like was she cloned?
Yeah, genuinely.
Could be. Let's talk about it.
I'm like, where's my tinfoil hat?
Something's off.
Genuinely,
Something's
it's
crazy.
like, it feels like you're watching an AI version of her that like they forgot to charge.
Yeah, it's been very bizarre. So we're going to talk about her tour. We're going to definitely show some of the highlights, but we're also going to talk about Blue Origin because we never touched on that. If you don't know, it's the legendary trip to space, Gayle King, Katy Perry, Jeff Bezos' girlfriend, whose name slips my mind every so often. What's her name? Oh, Lauren Sanchez. My bad. There was a lot that we didn't discuss there. And I kind of was bummed out that we never discussed the Blue Origin space thing because I was like so into it on TikTok and stuff. And like, I don't know, I would talk about it with my friends and I found it to be like a very lighthearted, not lighthearted in the sense of like you're literally putting a bunch of like, what is it, CO2 into the air and spending millions of dollars and literally wasting everything, like time, energy, resources, all of that. It's bullshit. But in the sense of like, come on, Katy Perry, the clip with her and the daisy, it just completely is amazing. It's one of the best
Have
clips.
you seen all the conspiracy theories also that like it was fake?
Oh, I've got them right here, sister. We've got them on the dock.
Great.
Let's get into it. So we're going to talk about that because we haven't yet. And I think that the best person to do that with is a Katy Perry stan. And lucky for us, that's Lily Marston.
I feel like you're making it seem like until like a week ago, I was like over here with like posters on the wall.
Okay,
and
stop
I think
it.
It's been a very gradual decline.
I can respect that, but it's also fair to say that in your adult life, you were a Katy Perry fan, very much so. Like, it's not like you were a kid and only a fan of her. And then once your brain developed, you were like, maybe not. Like, you really liked her.
Well, I mean, Teenage Dream and California Girls, like those didn't come out until I was like a sophomore in college.
Your point?
So that's the first time I heard them. And it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm upset. I don't know. It was just like me and my friend
Insert the clip of you
like,
hanging up the mix tile where you're like, this is my queen. And it's just a picture of Katy Perry.
Okay, guys, it's only been 10 minutes because that's how easy all this is. Wow. But now I've saved the best for last.
Let me see.
We're almost done.
Oh.
Me and my queen.
Well, so then it was funny because I was obsessed with her for a while, and then it was like I started to be like a full grown adult, and it was like, okay, well, I'm not really obsessed with anything.
You just love her music, which is totally fine. Yeah.
And I still like was excited when it happened, but like it went from like the years that I was really obsessed with her. So then I didn't get to meet her until like a little bit after, like until the kind of like plateau had started. And then I met her like twice in a year because I happened to like have a connection with someone that was like big in her fan club or I don't know. So I got to like go to all these really cool events. Basically there was a year of like, I think I met her twice, but I got to go to like probably 5 different private things.
It's so frustrating to me that I never got to meet Miley. I felt like that was going to be part of my life story. Do you remember the story of Pharrell when I went to his
you
studio?
guys would be best friends.
He said that to my face. He goes, you and Miley would be best friends. I'm like, so make it happen. Like, what are you doing?
And I told you that, so where I used to get my hair done for a little while, the DP Hue house, it's like not a salon. I mean, it is a salon, but it's like
she was
in
there.
a house. And still the guy that did, or at least he assisted on my hair a couple times, but he does hair on his own now. His name's Alexi, and he's an absolute angel. He does her hair still. So like any of like the festivals and stuff she's performed at the last few years or like photo shoots, like I'll always see him posting. He also used to work at the DP Hue house, so that's how they met. And I was there one time, and it's this house in the hills, and it's like super bougie, and they invite you, and it's like you don't pay, it's just like in exchange for posting and stuff.
What an interesting business plan.
Well, they have products that's what they're promoting, so like that's where they make their money. The main guy is known as being like the like blonde stylist to the stars, so he like basically any famous blonde you could think of, he's probably done their hair. The more I would go, the more like he wasn't doing my hair because like he's busy doing actual famous people. He was doing it one time. We're in the front, and all of a sudden I hear a voice, and someone, one of the other guys walks by, and he goes, "Do you know who that is?" And I'm like, "Oh my God."
I wouldn't have been able to breathe.
I know that voice anywhere. So then I'm like in this chair that's like right next to the door, like so she would have to walk by to leave, and I am literally like, "Oh my God." Like, do I say something when she comes out? She walks out, and it's just like so casual, so like just chilling, whatever. And she's like, "Oh my God, thanks so much." She's like saying bye to the guy doing my hair, and I'm just sitting there like,
I would have had no choice. I would have had no choice to just be like, "You are my everything."
I could not. I just kind of like, she was like, "Hi," and I just was like, "Hi."
I would have just literally just started dumping information on her. Like, I had a Hannah Montana eye home.
With you. No, yeah, but
and a comforter.
And she was nice, and then walked out the door, and I was just like, "What just happened?" But you know those people that like that just like look like celebrities, like you see them, and you're like, even if I didn't know who you were, I would know that you're famous.
Yeah.
She has that for sure.
I think that there's people that you discover at a certain point in your life, and then they just like mean something for you, regardless of like, again, after Dead Pets, I never fell back on. You know what I mean? Like I listened to some of her music, but it never, like I could never rekindle that love in my heart for her.
For Katy Perry, for me, it was that she truly was like the soundtrack to college.
So the song, well, no, I still feel that way about Miley's past. I mean, every rose has its thorn.
But so I think there's like a kind of like personal nostalgia investment kind of going on that added to a lot of it.
But anyway, the reason we're talking about any of that is because we are going to discuss like where she's at right now. And although she's had a lot of Katy Perry, I'm talking about her, not Miley. I think the same could be said for Miley, and she's gone through her own journeys. And I think that that's normal in the public eye, especially when you're famous and like you're just trying to figure out who the fuck you are and what you want to do even. And you're going to have some like what they call flop eras. You know what I mean?
Well, especially when you hit such a peak so early. Like that was her first big, I mean, she had an album before that, but it was like her first big album. And like, it was how many #1 singles? How do you keep going after that?
Yeah.
And then she like really did manage to. It wasn't necessarily the same caliber of success, but it was like pretty consistent for a while. And I was thinking about it actually in the car earlier when one of her songs came on, because I kind of feel like it must be hard, especially like even Taylor Swift is an example of like, it's insane to see how she's been able to just like reinvent herself, but also like stay true to like.
She didn't really change a whole ton, honestly. Like she
doesn't change a whole ton, but she does just enough to like have it make sense. And it doesn't feel like she's kind of chasing something old.
Yeah, I feel like Katy and Miley went in the opposite direction where it was just like, who am I? I need to figure it out. Like they had an identity crisis almost that they were exploring.
That was what I was getting to. Most songs are about like their love songs, or it's like about partying or drinking or finding yourself. So it's like they kind of both actually did that arc. But so now as adults, like Katy Perry has a daughter now and is married to Orlando Bloom.
Oh my God. Random story. One time I went to, I have to say it. You know, I can't help but interject with my weird stories.
Of course.
I was in LA. We were at some vegan restaurant. It was a vegan Mexican restaurant. And when I left, I had forgotten my wallet. So I had to go back.
Madre?
Gracias madre. Yeah, that's it. Wow, period. Not you knowing vegan places.
I've never been. But.
It's delicious. And so I went with a friend and I forgot my wallet. So I went back to get my wallet. And on the way out, all I see is just like, it felt like thousands. It was probably like 20 people. Just flashes of cameras so bright that I thought I was gonna get shot. Like, I don't know why I equated like the lights with like, I'm dead, like something's gonna happen and I'm dead. I have a panic disorder, whatever. Anyway, so literally it was Orlando Bloom getting paparazzi. I'm pretty sure he was being asked about Katy Perry, but he was being asked about some relationship. That feeling is terrifying. Having a pure night and then just like a ton of lights and they're shouting at you in a split second, awful. And then literally the second he went in the car and drove away, it was just like calm. Like it was just like everybody just okay, anyway. I'm like,
I don't know how they deal with it. Like there's always videos of Justin Bieber like having conversations with them, and he's usually actually pretty respectful, but he's like also calling them out and being like, hey, like, can you actually not do that? Like, what do you...
I don't know how you do it when you have a kid, to be honest. That would piss me the fuck off. I don't know how you do it,
period. Like, literally, they're so invasive, and they, like, the way the dangerous driving and, like, following them. Yeah. I saw, actually, a video of Kendall Jenner the other day. She, like, lets one of them pass, and then she gets just on their ass and is just honking at them in this neighborhood, and the guy in the car is still filming, and so you can hear what him and another guy are saying. They're freaking out. They're like, pull over! Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh my God.
Like, she makes them so uncomfortable, but I'm like, yeah, like, taste of your own medicine, asshole. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, the Kardashians in general, I'm just like, well.
That just happened to be who it was.
I know. No, I get it. But I think in general, Katy Perry has been famous from a very young age. And I think that she's had moments of identity crisis. I don't think now, you know, being a mother and being a wife and having, like, she's seasoned in her career at this point. It's not really the point now that what we're about to watch, like, can be classified as an identity crisis, I feel like. Like, this is just confusing
think I was more
everyone.
Referring to, like, the music this time around, this album. I know it's gotten a lot of criticism because it does seem like she had nothing to do with it. And it's like,
what album is it that she's on tour for?
Is it called Life?
I'm so dead. You don't know the name?
I know the tour is called Lifetimes. Is it called Lifetimes?
I haven't downloaded one. She came out with an album.
It's not good. Literally, it's like the weirdest. Like, I wouldn't even say it's singing. It's kind of like electronic, like weird club music.
Oh, that must be the one that she's playing when she does her dance break that I'm going to show you.
143.
143. Oh, that means I love you.
Which, like, What?
Anyway, first we're going to go to the Blue Origin space journey, okay? Because that was quite the doozy. And again, we didn't get to cover it. So let's do it right now. Now, this was a Blue Origin trip. And Blue Origin is owned by Jeff Bezos, which is like,
cool.
God, I know this. I don't like making fun of people's looks. And I'm not even doing that. But doesn't he look like literally a cartoon villain?
He does.
If I were to draw a villain from memory, that's Jeff Bezos.
I think it's the bald head.
Is it just the ball? Yeah, it might be.
I mean, there's some other factors too, but I think that leads the way.
But anyway, this is not the first time that he has sent people up into space on a Blue Origin rocket. He actually did it with a YouTuber called Dude Perfect, which I'm not familiar with. Are you?
They're like a group of guys that do like trick shot videos.
Oh, so he also sent them up to space, I guess.
Interesting. Well, I think it's also a little disingenuous to say, I mean, like, technically they go to space, but like...
Okay, well, so actually, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people are saying they didn't go to space. This is all fake. So the Dude Perfect guys, they actually explained exactly how this works and where it goes exactly. And I think that that's helpful to watch. So here it is.
The engines ignite and the rocket boosts off the launch pad towards space. We'll reach speeds of over 2,000 miles per hour as we make our way towards what they call the Kármán line, the internationally recognized boundary for space. Once there, we separate from the booster and we experience zero gravity. While we float around, the booster makes its way back down to Earth and lands all by itself. Remember, no pilot. Then we get back in our seats, re-enter the atmosphere, the parachutes deploy, and we become astronauts.
That's what Katy Perry would also say. So basically, it goes right to the edge of like, you're in space, but bitch, you just got there.
It goes to like right to where there's no gravity.
Yeah, and it also goes right to, from what I understand, the same spot where the Red Bull guy skydived. Do you remember that?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, his name was Felix. And I mean, absolutely insane. That's
Truly.
really hardcore. Okay, but like he went up in a little shuttle and just jumped off and free fell to fucking Earth. Okay, it's 127,852 feet.
The fact that you'd be willing to do this, like,
some people are absolutely
we've talked about
insane.
skydiving before, and like I would be down for normal skydiving. This is insane. Like he's in an astronaut suit.
Well, I think because you have to be. Yeah. Like, so some people were saying that the Blue Origin only goes to the Earth's atmosphere. It's not even space. It technically is space, and you do technically experience zero gravity. Now, from my very limited knowledge, please, NASA girlies in the chat, let us know. But there is a thing called microgravity, and there is different levels to that. So people, I know, period. I literally just Googled it. And the reason I even looked it up is because there was people theorizing that they didn't go anywhere in this Blue Origin rocket, saying they literally, like, it was all staged.
Yeah, well, I know people are even looking at like the timing, and they were saying the math wasn't mathing, and it was like, it did make sense that
it does make sense,
went to where they were,
in my opinion.
Were able to come back. I mean, it feels disingenuous to be like, we're sending these women to space, when it's like, technically you are, but like, they're not going to the moon.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. I do think, I mean, listen, if I did it, would I be like, holy shit, that was really cool? Of course I would. However, we'll walk you through it a little more so that if you somehow have missed all of the Blue Origin coverage, it'll make sense to you. So there was 6 women on board. It was an all-women team, which I think in itself was kind of the moment that they were trying to sell it as, is like, this is the first all-woman space crew,
Which,
you know?
I will say, there has been a lot of just misogyny around the whole thing.
Oh,
but
from the start, yeah.
At the same time,
It's horrible.
Also because they basically tried to like hijack the feminist movement for this weird propaganda, whatever this is.
Yeah, it felt very dystopian. So on board, we have Katy Perry. Random. Already, why are we here?
It is random, but it also absolutely makes sense that she would like get presented this opportunity and be very down for it for some reason. Like that makes sense to me.
The next up, other qualified individual on board, Lauren Sanchez, aka Jeff Bezos' fiance. She definitely,
Nepotism.
I could just like picture him talking to her about like, oh, I'm gonna send like all women up, and she's like, can I go? Like was that the conversation?
Actually, though, that is probably what happened.
Then we have Gayle King, TV host and best friend of Oprah Winfrey.
Of course.
Then we actually have 2 qualified individuals. We have Aisha Bowe, who's a former NASA scientist, Amanda Nguyen, who's a research scientist, which like I could totally understand why scientists would want to go even to space for a few minutes, document some stuff. Totally makes sense. And then we have Carrie Ann Flynn, who's a movie producer. I don't know how the fuck she made it there. Anyway.
I understand, like, I mean, personally, it doesn't really sound appealing to me. It sounds like a lot of work and a lot of stress. But I get
I wanna just
why
stay home and
people, I guess, would take them up on the opportunity. I'm not going to shit on them for that. But
from the start, though, there was weird aspects of it. I remember specifically Gayle King went on TV, announced that she was going to do it, and literally said that she was so terrified. She was so scared. She had to be convinced to do it.
I have to tell you, I'm so afraid.
Stop, Gail.
I am. I'm so afraid, but I'm also so excited about it. When they asked me, and they asked me around Thanksgiving, I was like, no. Then I started thinking about it, and once Kirby and Will were fine with it, and Oprah was fine with it, I was surprised because I thought Oprah would say no, but she said no. She said, I think if you don't do it, when they all come back and you have the opportunity to do it, you will be kicking yourself. And she's right.
I don't think you can possibly say no.
And all the comments were saying things like, oh, I have a bad feeling about this. Like, this is going to be horrible. Like, from the get, people just, like, were not on board for any of it. And I think it morphed into that. Like, people were just, like, concerned for the people going to then mocking it.
And then also, I think people were saying it was, like, giving that Titanic. Like, people were bringing up that Titanic submarine situation.
Ocean one. What was it called?
Did that have to do with Titanic, or did I just make that up?
I do fear you did just throw that in there. No, they went to go see the Titanic.
Yeah, no, I think
wreckage,
that was, like, the
they?
goal. It was, like, a bunch of rich people, and it, like, imploded. It wasn't constructed properly. And they all died. It didn't go well, to say the least.
Well, so they ended up going to space on April 14th, and they went for 10 minutes total. I think that includes takeoff and landing. So they were in space for like a couple minutes. And we have a few views inside the actual capsule. So like the YouTuber said that went to space, like basically it disconnects and then you're in a literal like tiny little capsule just on the edge of space. And so you're going to see them floating.
Yeah, it like shoots you into space, leaves you there for a minute. And then even though there's zero gravity, somehow they float back down. I don't know how that happens, but
no, I think they have to like press some shit
because like they're not in a motorized part. It just has parachute.
There's got to be a button on there that brings them back down. So this is them experiencing zero gravity for the first time.
1, 2, 3, taking up space.
Oh yeah, so that was the name of their group, right? Like take up space or their motto or something.
Yeah, that was the hijacking of the feminist movement.
And I'm like, yeah, you actually are taking up space in our environment right now with like a lot of shit that you're pouring everywhere while everyone's struggling. So thanks. And the fact that they're like, take up space, like it's just so dystopian.
It feels like it was written by a man.
Oh, absolutely.
Tamir's in space.
Is the door open?
Yeah, they opened the door. Oh my God, the daisy. Here it is. And then my favorite part is that it's not just Katy with the daisy. The next shot shows her and like how that looks from another perspective. And she's just like glued to the wall there because like there's a camera and you know, it's like there's different cameras all around. She's just there with the daisy. Just turned around, ignoring all of the other actual human beings she's experiencing this with, just to show the world her daisy.
I gotcha, Flynn.
Gotcha. Proud of you, Flynn. Oh, the moon! You guys, I have to tell you, look at the moon. That's amazing.
Wow, look at the blue line.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goddess!
Wow.
Oh my That's our pink moon.
Okay.
The hand heart.
Oh my gosh. So much.
Katy, where are you getting all these refrigerator magnets
Where are all
from?
the
Like,
props
what are you?
coming
What
from?
is this? It's a lot to process.
It just feels
Stupid and pointless.
so weird. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, like what was the point in sending them? Like, wouldn't the funds for this have been better spent to like do something productive?
That's what well, that's the thing, isn't it? That Jeff Bezos, due to his exploitation of all of his fucking employees, has literal fuck you money. And this is a big fuck you to people, I feel. Like just in general, like I understand why scientists and researchers need to go to space. But honestly, when I see shit like this, I'm like, what are you practicing for when all the rich people are going to leave Earth and leave us all behind?
No, but like literally that's what they're all doing.
Like literally, it just feels so dystopian and weird. And I don't know how on any level anybody could have thought that this would connect with people. And like literally just the vision of Katy Perry upside down doing a hand heart. That's just one for the history books because it's like,
I don't know how I'd even find it, but there was this TikTok that I saw one time where it was a guy going on a rant. He's like, if you're obsessed with space, then you're fucking stupid. Why would you want to go to space? There's nothing there.
Well, that's the thing. Some people think there is things up there and that like the research of it serves us, which I understand.
The research,
is, like,
yes,
we're
absolutely.
able to be there.
But people that just like want to go to space, like recreationally.
Yeah. Or like the people that fight for the flat earth theory. I'm like, girl, I mean, come on. None of us are ever going to see it from that point of view anyway to be able to even confirm for ourselves. So just give it a rest.
And even if they did, they would still say it's fake.
I actually know someone who's a flat earther and I asked them because they know me personally. I was like, if I go to space and I took a picture with me in it,
No.
Would you believe me?
Of course not.
And they said no.
You would have been bought and paid for by the global elite or
like,
whoever's.
You fucking bitch. I would not Photoshop that. Like, what do you mean?
My favorite are the ones. Like, I mean, I'm not about to say I know anything about physics or science or space or anything.
Girl.
Don't know anything.
I think everyone knows we don't understand that.
They do stuff where it's like taking a picture and being like, see, it's flat. Look, there's no curvature here. And it's like, I don't think you understand what's happening.
No, my favorite is they use the NASA website because to do like one example, NASA like had to basically like hypothetically say like they had to paint it as like a flat situation so they could explain what they were trying to explain. And they have vehemently said like, we're not saying the earth is flat. We were explaining. It doesn't matter. Everyone's like, they say it on the NASA website.
It's literally people being like, what about the map? Why is it flat? And it's like, because it's a fucking map.
Anyway, so basically people have theorized that they didn't actually go to space, that they didn't take off anywhere, that this was like some weird movie production, weird shit. And what I will say is the reasons they think that is pretty much, I would say there's 3.
The door.
One is the door. So basically what happened, and I feel like everyone has already seen this clip where usually a spacecraft can't open inwards. It opens outwards because of the amount of like pressure and all that shit. I don't fucking know. And usually it cannot be opened from the inside because of the amount of pressure that happens when you go to space. I don't know how any of it works. I do know though that going into space, although they cross that line, it's not all equal. So the reason why I brought up microgravity is because another reason people think they didn't go to space is because Katy Perry's hair and all of their hair was not floating upwards like astronauts that you see in spaceships. You know what I mean?
Kind of. It was still floating a little.
It was floating, but it was very light. Like it looked like almost like there was like a fan or something that was just like lightly lifting.
I would say though, like, because I remember looking at it closely because people were commenting on it a lot. And like, I don't know how they would do that. Like how they would create that floating effect because it was like it was floating enough that it didn't look like something was moving it.
I don't know how you would do it either, but it didn't stick straight up, which is what people are used to seeing with astronauts. But that's why I looked up if there was different types of what is called zero gravity. And it turns out there's no zero gravity. That is not a thing. Microgravity is what it's called, and there's different levels to it. And I don't know how to explain it, but I saw basically that there is gravity in space, but it's like in different parts, and so it reacts differently. I don't fucking know. The point is there's different levels to microgravity. So if you're in different parts of space, your body may react differently. You may float in a different way or like feel more weightless than others. I mean, they're literally at the edge. I would expect that the gravitational pull of the Earth is still like an element there that's at play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me sounding scientific, period.
Because like the way they were floating, it kind of looked like how like you would be like when you're in water. I don't know. I did look specifically though at the hair because I know that that's been a thing in the past with NASA, that people are always commenting on hair in the videos and saying it's fake. And people just say that NASA is completely fake in general and that it's all a conspiracy.
So another big reason why people thought that this was fake is because when they arrived, the door opened from the inside and then you could tell that a woman came up and like reclosed it so that Jeff Bezos could do his performance of a lifetime and like open with a tool that absolutely was not necessary to open it.
That's the thing. It's that you not only can't open it from the inside, but I guess you need a tool to open it from the outside, except it like came down and just like the door plopped open.
Now, what I will say is that I have seen some people speculate that because they didn't go to space. The pressure wouldn't be the same. I don't know the logistics of that. I don't think that this was faked like movie set, like how people think the moon landing was fake with like just like wires.
Well, I mean,
like,
that's why,
like,
but genuinely, like,
I don't think that's
why I was paying attention to the hair in it, because I was like, I don't know what you would do to even create that effect, because I know that a lot of people like say that it, like the NASA operation in general, like all of it's fake and the moon landing's fake and everything, but that they do it specifically like underwater. But like you would be able to tell if their hair's wet, because that's the only thing I think that would mimic your hair floating like that. But it's like it's clearly not underwater.
Yeah, people say that all astronauts are fake. Nobody, like there's no International Space Station. None of that is real. I honestly, personally, I think that that's ridiculous. I think that that's a big disservice to astronauts that literally drink their piss. Did you know that? All the saliva and liquids in the air get circulated back into their drinking water.
Oh.
Apparently, space smells like farts, but that's just what I heard through the grapevine.
Oh my God. Well, anyway.
Why would they go through that? Like those people that just weren't with their families for months because they were trapped in space. Some people think they weren't trapped in space.
Well, I think the craziest thing is like, what's the motive?
What's the goal?
Why would they keep up this?
That's what
like, do you know how expensive
it
would be to keep up that narrative? And like, it just doesn't make sense. What's the point? They're saying the point originally it's because like the United States was
we had to be the first to do it.
Exactly.
And it was like powerful.
But it's like, it's been a long time to keep up that that charade.
I think that that's silly. I also trust science though, so I know some people don't.
Well, they also think the earth is flat, so.
Yeah, but all that being said, do I think that this made Katy Perry an astronaut? Because she does.
Oh, well,
do you?
That's generous. I mean, what I was going to say is that the people saying that this was fake, I'm like, even more so than the motive to fake all of history. What would the motive for this be?
I don't know. And honestly, I think that it just makes sense that a billionaire was just flaunting wealth and just being like, oh, I could do this cool thing.
No, that sounds much more realistic. That a billionaire asked people like Katy Perry if she wanted to go to space, and she was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we have to do things like that with topics that we cover all the time where we're like, okay, yes, I understand how a conspiracy could make sense here, but also what makes the most sense?
That's
because a lot of times that's what it is.
I'll see pieces that people will like put together and like plead their case for why it's fake. And I'm like, okay, there are aspects that are weird, but you have to ask yourself, what is weirder? That someone would have literally gone through all of the steps and motions to fake something like this? Or that there's an explanation that you just don't know about?
Right. And also something that people were pointing out is that apparently like the temperature of space or something, like they would have come down and the spaceship would have been like 400 degrees or something insane like that. And Jeff Bezos touched it 3 minutes after it landed. But I don't know the fucking logistics there. Like I need to look into like, has every person that's ever opened a spacecraft had like fucking heat gloves, or does it cool down by the time it reaches the ground?
Well,
I don't fucking know.
Because it floated its way down. It didn't like...
Yeah. Parachuted and floated,
and it's colder
for quite a while.
High, so like it would have
gone... like where a plane is, it's freezing.
Yeah,
I don't know. We're not scientists, okay? But I just think it's all a bit silly. Now, do I think the trip itself was ridiculous and silly as well? Absolutely. I just think it actually happened. That's my opinion.
I just feel like that's a lot of length to go to fake something for no reason.
But anyway, back to Katy Perry, because that's why we're gathered here today. What do you think she did? I mean, you already know what she did.
She kissed the ground.
When she came back. She kissed the ground. They all did, actually, I'm pretty sure.
From her long journey, she never thought she would get back, the daisy.
Oh, yeah. Other people were saying, too, that the daisy would have wilted because of the conditions of space, and they had the door open and a bunch of stuff. I don't know the logistics of the daisy. All right. It looks real.
Daisy.
It does look. I mean, she's very attached to it. I feel like she still has it.
Well, and also, isn't her daughter named Daisy?
Oh, is that what it was?
I think so.
I thought she was trying to like promote her song.
The song is like 5 years old at least.
But period queen, get that promo. Like, I don't know. I don't know
if that is the significance, but I'm pretty sure her daughter's name is Daisy.
Probably. But look at this. Just this one screenshot of her just there with the daisy.
It's just
dystopian.
Just performative, weird, dramatic. Like, okay, we get it.
Yeah. Here she goes.
Katy!
Low key though, that is me after I get off of every single plane,
that's the thing.
because I absolutely thought I was gonna die on takeoff.
This, if it was on its own and there wasn't all the other like really just eye roll cringe behavior, I think she was doing it to be funny. She wasn't like actually like...
No, she wasn't. She was not kissing the ground to be funny. Absolutely not. No way is that possible. She literally, like, that was her moment. And Gayle King did it. And then Gayle King, when everybody called her out, I think one of her rebuttals was like, well, have you been to space? And we're like, no, Gayle. No, we fucking haven't. That's the point.
Tell Jeff Bezos to call me for the next trip.
Like, yeah, if he gives me a call, maybe we could talk, but I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, this is her talking about how she felt very connected to love, which is a whole separate thing.
Yeah,
I think this
feels
was
like she's like
one
on
of the most
shrooms.
viral.
Yeah.
Somebody found her at the freaking by the porta potties of Coachella or something. Like, it just feels very weird.
You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love. So connected to love. I think this experience has shown me you never know how much love is inside of you, like how much love you have to give, and how loved you are until the day you launch.
Shrooms.
Oh, so the rest of us just
definitely
fuck us, because we're never gonna know. You think she took shrooms before she went to space?
I'm like half kidding, but like genuinely that is giving very like outside of my body.
That's actually hilarious. Like, bro, talk about the last thing
like
that
the
I would do.
microdose
I would
was
have to be
a little
stone sober.
higher than it should have been.
That is a very crazy thing to say. Like, you don't know the love you have inside of you till the day you launch. Okay.
What is that
Should
even?
we all just kill ourselves?
Well, that's like, what does
like
that
we're
even
never
mean,
gonna
though?
know
I'm
that
like,
feeling, Katy Perry. Like, fuck you.
I don't know.
And also, I know Gayle King talked about like how this was like meant to give hope to like young women and just see that anything is possible.
None of them did anything to get there. I mean, the two research people, yeah, but like,
well, that's the thing. But also, just in general, I'm like, there have been many women astronauts that girls can see and know that they do those trips were like something valuable, something that we could all learn. They're actually researching, they're actual scientists.
Innovation
This did
based.
nothing for anybody.
Yeah.
What do I want to do? Become a pop star so I could become a multimillionaire and then some random weird rich weirdo will just send me to space?
There wasn't any kind of academic weight to this trip, and it just was like,
right?
What exactly is the hope or inspiration that you're giving people? Just that it's possible to literally be a normal person and go to space? Because also that's not really true, because you're not really normal people. You're huge
Nobody was
celebrities.
normal on there.
So,
they were either insanely rich or like very smart. So yeah, no, I'm never gonna go to space.
Again, it's a
nor
weird
would I want to
thing
be fair.
with the trying to hijack feminism to act like this was this really meaningful thing where it's like, okay.
I think we're so beyond that point too as women.
I feel like also
we
all of
can
you
see
in your
through smokes and
careers
mirrors.
should be more proud of like things that you've done and accomplishments you've
done.
had than like whatever the fuck this was.
Yeah, I think that especially rich people have lost sight of how they can connect to us. Like, I just genuinely believe they do not understand anymore how they can be seen as, like, to say that sentence, you're not going to know love until the day you launch, is insane to tell to billions of people who are never gonna get to do that. Like, obviously everyone's gonna say, actually go fuck yourself. What the fuck was the point of this?
I
is so
think
weird.
maybe
like,
she
none of this makes
meant
sense.
like, I don't even know, like maybe
you gotta launch.
No, but like because it's like you could die. So if something went wrong, that it was like, I don't know, like people are real. I don't know.
Not your Katy bias coming through.
No, I'm just trying to like, because literally, what does that even mean? Like, is she trying to say like?
No, I don't know.
I don't know. Like, if I was about to go on like a dangerous journey somewhere, I don't think this was a particularly dangerous journey, but you know what I mean?
I'm sure it was dangerous, to be honest.
It was.
Isn't
I mean,
it?
I
Like,
mean,
just to
something
go
could
to-
always go wrong. Yeah. But I think like,
Yeah,
was
of
that
course.
maybe what she was leaning towards, where it's like, she's doing this thing and it's like everyone in her life, like you never know love. Like everyone's like really like.
I think she's just on shrooms. I like that
I don't
theory
know.
better.
Well, I mean, honestly, it makes more sense. She was just trying to be really over the top, like philosophical and like, I don't know. It literally just sounded like she was on shrooms. Maybe some LSD.
Yeah, it did. And I think that in general, Katy's always been an interesting gal.
I feel like she goes back and forth between, and why I even said like the kissing of the ground, like I feel like it was meant to be like a funny thing. It's because she's rarely super serious, but
Right.
I feel like she does go between either like sarcastic, silly, goofy, just like joking around, to randomly tries to be deep. And
Right.
you're like, oh, but maybe just stick to the funny.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
just-
yeah.
You're not that deep at the end of the day. And I think she used that to pull out that side more.
I don't know if in their heads they actually thought they were doing this, but I think that the vibe that I'm getting is that they were all stepping out of those roles, which is being very successful millionaires, to do something for the greater good. Like, that's how Gayle King describes it. They genuinely describe it as something that like was so great.
Well, that's what I
And
don't
I
get.
just
I'm like,
don't
but
know
what
how
was
they
the
can
point?
twist
just
it
so
to
you
that.
guys could like see Earth from
They went on a
afar?
field trip.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a long, I've been on longer field trips to the aquarium. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense.
Acting like this is like one huge step for women. It's like, well, you've done far more for women in your careers by just like being successful and like
Correct.
doing everything in your respective crafts than whatever this was, where you just literally got on a spaceship and took some pictures. Like, astronauts have to train for like months and months and months because it's such an intensive journey. This was not that, because again, it's generous to even say they went to space because it's like a technicality.
Right. But anyway, that's the last that people had heard from Katy Perry until she went on her tour for the album. The name of the album escapes us. I don't remember.
143.
It's something. 143. That's right.
This really set the stage for conspiracy theories to say that's like they kidnapped her and cloned her or something.
And gave her a
then-
lobotomy or something.
Yeah, like something was like, that wasn't her that came back from space.
I'm so dead.
Like, I'm surprised that I
actually
haven't
pretty
seen that
funny.
more. Like, does that not feel like this is just
so
perfect
both
breeding
of
grounds
us
for
have
that?
been to a Katy Perry show, and we've been to, we've seen her in concert.
At least 10 times.
And I have to say, even though I've never been like a Katy Perry stan, like I've never, like not on the level that I was for Miley Cyrus, I had such an awesome time at her concert. She was such a great performer, sings super well live, and it was just a good show. Like, I remember at the end, she sang like, what is it, the birthday song? She sings, Happy Birthday. Oh, is it called Birthday?
Yep.
And she went around the whole crowd and just like swung, but it was like so fucking awesome.
She's really personable and really like charismatic, and that's always been something that I feel like really worked in her favor. Again, like I've seen her like probably 10 times, and that ranges from seeing like a concert where I'm like front row, like seeing her like right there, to being like further back, seeing the whole show, to literally a private room where there was like a dozen of us maybe, and it was her doing her whole album for like a listening party. So I've seen all of the versions and they were all great. Like, she sounded amazing in all of them. And then I've seen clips from this tour, and I'm baffled. I told Jesse, I was like, admittedly, I was very intoxicated for the majority of the times I've seen her. But I guarantee you, no level of alcohol would make me not notice how awful this is.
You couldn't have been more drunk than you were at the Sabrina Carpenter tour. And right? I remember all of that.
Well, you remember.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how that, but do you remember it?
No, I do. But also, I feel like, yes, I was very drunk, especially like at the first show I ever went to, but not all of them. Because yeah, like I've seen her even in the more like intimate
I'm dead.
ones.
Now
like,
you're trying to actually justify. You're
think,
like, I do remember them.
I think. Be like, what ones was I drunk for? It's not even like she sounds bad. Because honestly, is she even singing? Is it lip singing?
No, I think she is singing for some of them. I think that there's definitely a backtrack situation going on, which I don't mind a good backtrack moment. I hate when it's all they do. But anyway, let's show you clips from the concert so you can see what we're talking about. It is super disconnected. It very much is giving, they rehearse like one time and she's just like going off of memory.
I guess.
Like, it just makes no sense.
So quick context also though, before we watch these, is it's not like Katy Perry has been out of practice and like not been performing for the last decade and this is just like her return.
Yeah, and she had a baby and maybe that changed a lot too.
She was doing American Idol for a while. She's not anymore. Got replaced with Carrie Underwood.
Can't believe that show is still going. Insane.
Honestly, it's still entertaining, at least
Paula,
for the
Randy,
audition.
and Simon left. It was over. Can we all just accept that?
But anyway, in the last couple of years, she was, I think, focused more on that and wasn't performing a lot. But before that, she literally did a Vegas residency. The dates are December 2021 to November 2023. So for 2 years, she was like performing constantly.
What I will say about that is that there's a lot of clips coming out right now from the residency that people are mistaking for the tour. Like particularly the video that toilet. I sent you with the turd coming out of the toilet.
Okay, so, and I will say, I don't agree that the visuals were top notch and it was like weird themes, but it's not the same level of like, what is this? It's like a different
It's not
level
the same level, but I think it is interesting because I think if you juxtapose, favorite word, like Prism Tour, Teenage Dream Tour, then you put in the Vegas residency in the middle, then you put this tour here on the right, I feel like genuinely it all just looks like a steady decline. Like, I think the residency was kind of interesting and low energy. There's this one clip where she's like, something like, cheer if you're bisexual, or like something like that. I'm like, girl, like, what is going on?
And I could see, like, just from a human perspective, I could see it, like, doing a residency for 2 years. Like, yeah, you're fucking
She's
over
in her
it.
40s, is she not?
Maybe just about to be 40.
Dude, touring and all of that is so unbelievably difficult. Like, I mean, just the sheer traveling alone. Think of the different time zones. Think of like, she's 40. Yeah. I mean, she's probably going through perimenopause, which by the way, everybody goes through, and you start going through in your 30s for a lot of people. So if you're feeling a little weird, get it checked out. But yeah, like, I think that there could be a lot of elements to it. And I think that that's fair. However, I don't think it's fair when you're already so rich to like continue to push it. Because you see Beyonce's on tour. She's in her 40s. As much as maybe she's not performing like 20-year-old Beyonce, nobody expects her to, and she's still killing it.
But
you know
also,
what I mean?
she
like,
compensates
I think that there's a difference
in other ways. I think to like she puts
visuals,
on a good performance,
just like professionalism and vocals. Yeah, 100%.
Having Blue Ivy just
her daughter
steal a show every
stage.
time. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Do it. The most basic explanation would be it looks like she does not want to be there.
Correct.
And I think that is a slap in the face to people that buy tickets to the show. It's like, if you don't want to be there, then don't be there. Like, don't have people get all excited, pay to go see Katy Perry, and then have it be like, what is this? Or if you are going to be like low, if you don't want to do the same kind of like crazy performances that you did in the past, but also I don't ever remember her doing, she's not like Pink. She's not fucking spinning around the entire arena upside down.
Well, yes, she was. She was from the beginning. I do remember her literally swinging around and singing the birthday song, but also just in general, I do remember having the thought of like, damn, this must take so much stamina. Like, I think just in general, the show that I went to was like, it's very physically demanding. And I think tours are of people in general, but I want to show you the clips so you can see them in case you haven't already.
Before we go any further, we have a word from our sponsor, Honeylove.
If you don't already know, Honeylove makes my favorite bras to ever exist. And go ahead, Lily, you can ask me if I'm wearing one.
Are you wearing one?
I am. Thank you for asking.
She always is.
I could go on for days about what I love about Honey Love's bras, but specifically, they are supportive and so comfortable. I have napped in them. I lounge all day in them. They smooth out your back fat and they don't have any wire. So nothing's popping out, nothing's cutting into you. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And I don't know why I ever wore anything other than Honey Love.
And they don't just have comfortable bras. Honey Love is actually known for their shapewear, which makes sense because it smooths out your back fat with the bras, smooths out your whole body with the shapewear.
Yeah, and one of them is called the Superpower Short, and it's my go-to because it has targeted compression, which basically means it distinguishes between areas that you want more support and areas that you need less compression, so it's not just squeezing you everywhere. And on top of that, they also have things like tanks and leggings, so Honey Love's really got you covered.
They do. So treat yourself to the most comfortable shapewear and bras on earth and save 20% site-wide when you go to honeylove.com/DWKT.
Again, that's honeylove.com/DWKT to get 20% off. And then once you purchase, they're going to ask how you heard about them, and it helps a lot if you let them know the girlie sent you. But thank you so much to Honey Love for being an amazing sponsor of this podcast. Now, obviously, there's some copyright issues, I think specifically with the ET clips, but we'll talk over most of them anyway, and maybe I'll just put in some royalty-free. It really doesn't matter, and it really doesn't change anything. This one in particular is a specific dance break that went viral, and if you're watching on YouTube, you could probably see why, because okay, first of all, she's not moving. She's giving like Zumba instructor when they don't do the full-out movements because they've been doing it all day type of thing.
Wig?
You know what I mean? A wig? Is she wearing a wig?
Are you kidding?
Oh, booty shake. This went viral, this specific movement. At some point, she does a death drop, but like literally, that's me at karaoke. What is happening right now is me at karaoke. Oh, here she goes. Period. Give us nothing quick. Oh, there's a death drop. And she stays there for a hot minute. Like, what is this speaking of?
What?
She just stays on the ground. Literally me if I fall, because I can't get back up. Because I'm tired.
Do you remember she performed like not too long ago? She won some, I don't know what the award is, but it's like the kind of like lifetime achievement type award. So she performed old songs, but then she did a new one. And it was this weird, like, it was very, very overly sexual and not age shaming at all. It's not like you're too old to be sexy, but it was like trying way too hard to be like overtly, even way more sexual. Like her stuff has always been very sexualized.
Was it giving Miley Cyrus when she rubbed the foam finger on her cooter?
Kind of, yeah. It was like, what are we watching? Like, this is weird.
Well, one of the songs that she did perform was E.T., like we just said. A lot of people know E.T. And one of the things she did during that was fight what looks like an HVAC duct, like an air conditioning unit in a warehouse. And she has like this like double-sided, like a Darth Maul, like Star Wars situation going on. And this performance in particular was very interesting for many different reasons. But she fights like what looks like a ninja or something. And the fight is, look at her running there. That's crazy. Me in PE in high school. The dancer can't like gather himself on the cords. And it looks like the worst, most fake, horrible fight that anybody who rehearsed this would have been like, we really need to work on it. You know what I mean? Like it's not giving. And they just left it as is.
She seems not yes, she seems, I guess, unprepared, but it's like also just like unsure.
Dude, I'm not joking. My little brother, his like special interest is Star Wars. And like I have done lightsaber fights with him and this is what it's giving. Like I literally, that's me. Like, this is what I can do on the fly.
Even like her body language, it's like she's trying to be cheesy about it, but it's not even coming off as cheesy. It's just weird.
But the intention isn't like something that being cheesy during it would like land. You know what I mean? It's very much something that you needed to kind of slay that fight because that's what you're trying to portray.
Well, and that's what I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why is all of this the vibe of the show? Like when I saw her, it was the California Dreams tour, the one where it was like all of her hit singles. Like I saw her in Santa Barbara. The stage is so small. She's not on any wires. There's no like crazy like production going on. And for part of it, she even just got a guitar and was singing like acoustic. She had a microphone. There was two guys on guitars next to her. And it was just her singing.
No, that's not the vibe,
and it
honey. That is not the vibe we were going for.
But that's what I think is so weird. I'm like, why would you think you needed to do whatever this is? Especially if you're not going to do it all out. Like, what is even the visual? Like, what's the theme here? Besides fucking hot mess.
In this video game show, there are levels and there are goals, and I have to collect hearts in order to use that to power up to defeat the mainframe, the evil forces. I actually have a section, it's like level 3.5, where it's a bonus section. I've collected enough hearts, and I get to now choose my own adventure. I get to revisit a past timeline, and I pick a few super deep cuts from each album.
Oh, I love it.
And I throw them up there and I let the fans vote. So they're literally pulling out their phones, doing a QR code.
In the moment.
In the moment. and the power is in their hands.
So sick.
So we'll see.
Have you seen her walking over her dancers?
Yes.
That might be my favorite clip. I just saw it today for the first time. So she does the whole like thing, you know, being on a harness and flipping. And they've done the sound like she was a fairy. You know what I mean? The whole thing on TikTok. It's been memed 1,000 times. But she like runs over her dancers at one point, and it's the most insane thing I've ever seen. She like misses one of them.
Well, I can't even blame her as much as it feels like whoever's operating the wires and the like
is not doing it right.
No, because you said even too with the dancer in the fight, it's like they aren't being given the proper resistance, and it's like fucking.
But
shit
wouldn't
up.
you think that could be chalked up to like a lack of rehearsal? That just feels like they didn't rehearse well.
I guess I don't know how productions like this would work. Like if it's not the entire tour crew, I think that comes with her to every show. It probably changes based on where she is. So
right,
I don't know. The overall like visual and aesthetic and like everything going on, I'm just
just a mess.
What is this? Like and who told you needed to do this?
Look at the Baby Shark choreograph. Like, it's literally like she's doing the Baby Shark. Like, that's insane. I know you have a kid, but girl, we want to forget about that when we're going to the show.
It's honestly like uncomfortable to watch so much of it because it's like,
oh my God,
what are you doing and why are you doing it?
So we didn't even include the clip that you sent me yesterday with the AI stuff.
Oh yeah. I don't know if she's really getting backlash for this. It feels like probably the least of her worries, but the visuals on screen for one of the songs were straight up just like AI people, but it just like didn't look good. Like, it's just like, what is this? Who's the creative director?
It didn't look like
of the
AI
show?
people who are like vibing to her music. It's like, let's look for like a college campus, everybody just laughing, just random footage to throw up on a screen. It didn't make any sense.
None of it makes any sense. Usually, like, while some of her themes, like the toilet thing with the residency, like, it's weird.
Oh,
but
don't
it's
forget
like,
the corn.
oh my God. I don't support all of the creative choices, definitely. But I will say that they feel a little more cohesive than
yeah, it felt like she made that
is.
decision and it was a quirky decision.
Yeah, like she
not
thought
just
it
like
was
she
funny.
showed up to somewhere she didn't rehearse for. And I think that is a big slap in the face for a tour when people buy their tickets a year in advance, way before she flew to space, way before she did anything. And like people just wanted to support someone that they just like her music. I just can't imagine doing this and not feeling like shit, but like also you had a theory.
Yeah, so I'll say that in a second. But also, I do ask, because I know it's called the Lifetimes Tour. So is that like her version of like the Eras Tour? So it's like, is she doing kind of like, oh, I'm going throughout my career and like showing you all these things? Because I guess that would be the only reason why it would feel so disjointed, because it's like the different themes of each kind of album.
Oh, but the themes aren't the issue. It's everything she's doing. Because like, I think you could do an Eras type tour and do all sorts of different moments in your career. And even though it maybe didn't make sense as like a theme totally, like it's not cohesive because you're switching from era to era.
But there's at least a way to transition between them. And also, I just don't understand what even those themes that we're seeing are. Like, they don't match necessarily anything she's done before.
Honey. Nobody
it's just like, I don't really understand, again, the entire creative direction of this thing. So my theory, I'd just seen something about, because, Justin Bieber is all over the news recently. Like, everyone is worried about him and he is exhibiting some concerning behavior. I haven't fact checked all this, but I saw a TikTok talking about it where it was like, I guess Scooter Braun sold his company that owns like all the rights to everyone's music and everything and all the like his management company. He sold it to a company that it's like a K-pop empire, but I guess he sold it for like significantly more than it would be valued at because of like potential earnings and stuff. And I guess Justin Bieber specifically, he had like this big tour planned for around COVID. And then he also had, I don't remember what exactly it was, some kind of like neurological thing, I think, where it was like half his face.
Bell's palsy.
Was that it?
Yeah, because Bell's palsy is temporary for most people.
I thought it was something different than that. I'm definitely familiar with that too. But so he was going through some health stuff and also COVID. And so I guess they canceled the tour. I don't know if this was a theory or if it was like fact-based, but that basically he then is on the line for like canceling all of those shows. So like any money that was invested into planning and like producing this tour, since he can't do it, he now is on the line for all of it, which is like, yeah, Justin Bieber has a ton of money, but like it takes a lot of money to put something like that on.
And you also have to understand though, like as much money as these people make, a lot of them don't write their songs by themselves. Exactly. A lot of them are not producing their songs. Most of the money that they get for their songs are going to producers and songwriters. And touring is the way they make money. It's really, I mean, touring and brand deals. That's pretty much it. That's how musicians make money.
Wee woo, misinformation police here with a potential infraction. Apparently, The Hollywood Reporter was the outlet to publish claims that Bieber was allegedly in around $20 million of debt, but it looks like a couple weeks ago, Bieber's reps vigorously denied the claim, saying, quote, "Any source that is trying to sell you a story about alleged financial distress either doesn't understand the entertainment industry or, more likely, is trying to paint an unflattering portrait of Justin, which bears no resemblance to reality. So perhaps Justin is not in debt, but either way, Justin's financials are not really relevant to what the other girl is about to say, and was just to give context. But anyway, back to the girlies."
So the idea was basically that Justin Bieber is, I don't know if actually in debt, like personally, but like with the company specifically, he is obligated to pay this money back and can't. So the only way that you would be able to make it back is to do something like tour. But that made me think when I'm watching all these that like, what if Katy Perry, I don't know what would have put her in the same kind of hole as, because she didn't cancel a tour, but it's like maybe her album, this past one especially, like flopped, or like even the one before that didn't perform as well. What if she is for some reason...
And it didn't, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
That's
so like
true.
if she was for some reason indebted to her like record label and the contracts that she has in place, that the way to make it back would be to go on tour, and that she doesn't want to, but is basically being forced to because she's obligated to pay it back. And that they are like, we don't care, bitch, get on stage, perform.
And
like
this is her almost like being a rebel.
Exactly.
In
So
that
it's
situation.
like you do it because you have to, and you don't really have a choice, but like you don't want to, so you're gonna like kind of almost do it.
I would say the same
in
for
spite.
her residency. Who would do a residency right after they have a child?
I don't know, and I don't know the ins and outs of the industry and how that all plays out, but I know that there is so much behind the scenes that make these people, like, they're not these independent artists that can do whatever they want. They're being controlled by a lot of very, very powerful and rich people that are using you for money. So if someone like forced her into doing this, and this is kind of like her, fine, I'll do it, but I'm not gonna like it kind of situation.
But that's the energy she's giving.
Exactly.
Like precisely the energy. Because you look at two different types of Katy Perry's. It's like the one that got divorced through a text with Russell Brand and then pulled it together. And that was like one of the most powerful. I watched that on the documentary. I was crying.
Oh, I know.
Like she pulled it together, showed up, smiled, and put on a hell of a fucking show for her fans, which I'm not saying is like normal or should be expected of an artist, but like she did that because she cared about it.
From being a fan for all these years, like I've never felt like she was like someone to be like, fuck you to your fans, you know? Like she always seems like she was really like, she did want to put on a good show. She did care about her performances and stuff. So that's the only part that I'm like, even if she was being forced to do this tour, I think it's crazy that she would just dial it in like this and not try, because she does know that people are like paying money to come see her.
And like to some people who are saying like, oh, it's nothing, like this is not a big deal, people are making this into something it's not. I think that as someone who's seen her, and I myself have seen her in concert, but like over the years, like it is a stark difference.
It's
and I feel like if people are looking at this and being like, oh, who cares? She's just being a little like awkward on tour. This is Katy fucking Perry. Like this is not just like someone who's touring for the first time and is nervous.
Or like has even taken a long break from it.
No.
And even she just did that performance at the VMAs 7 months ago. And it was, I mean, the one thing I thought was a weird choice, but like her energy was not the problem at all. Like she did a great performance. And you even said it feels like some bit that she's like improvising. And I was like, even that feels like a weird excuse though, because like Katy Perry should be able to improvise better than that. Like,
yeah, but when there's specific choreographies, like fight sequences and stuff, that's not something you can improvise because it's like so specific and needs to be like down to the movement to make any sense and not look ridiculous, because you're not actually hitting a person.
I guess I more so see her though, like if something went wrong, that she would like kind of make a joke out of it. Like it just seems like no one's home.
She's disconnected from it completely. Yeah, and I think that your theory is pretty plausible, although it would have to be coupled in with some sort of disconnect, like something she went through that made her disconnect from the industry even more. And It could be that she became a mom. She doesn't give a fuck anymore.
just
Like,
really,
you know
like,
what I mean?
wants
Like,
to
it's
go
just like,
home
listen,
and-
I just want to be with my family. This sucks. And like resents the time away from them, which is valid, but also not valid to like take people's money.
Well, and to embarrass yourself in the process.
Yeah. And what you said makes a lot of sense. There's an artist that I adore. His name is John Bellion, and his music is some of my favorite music ever. And he has done interviews about the music industry and talked about how he would get these signing bonuses and things that he was just like, wow, like this is really going to change my life. But realize that a signing bonus or any sort of bonus, anything, like you just owe the record company
There's
your
strings
life. And
attached
he was
to
like, by the
everything.
time I stepped into a concert, if I didn't sell those tickets, I was fucked. And it was like a really weird relationship with like, you want to perform for your fans, but like you have this like impending doom of the debt of your like craft. It's just very, very weird the way everything works. So I could see that happening.
When you look back at like NSYNC, for example, I know that they were vocal in like more recent years documentaries. They were performing and selling out shows and people were obsessed with them. They had like screaming girls following them everywhere. I feel like I can remember there's a clip of like Lance Bass saying that they like go out to dinner and get like handed a check and they think it's going to be like crazy. And it was like a couple $1,000s, especially with groups. I know that that's a pretty common thing.
Wait, what do you mean? They would get handed a couple $1,000s? Do you mean the check?
Yeah, it was like they were waiting for their first big check and then they got it and it was like not a big check, but they were like,
I'm so
at their,
dead.
like,
You know
peak
what I
fame.
interpreted that as? My fucking mush brain. That you were saying they went out to eat at a restaurant, got the check, and it was for a couple $1,000. I
Not
was
the
like, girl,
food
I don't
check.
know.
No,
How does
no.
that?
It was like that.
I'm like,
They went
damn,
out
that is a lot. But
for a dinner meeting and then were given checks that they had been expecting, but it was significantly less than they thought it was
that
going
makes
to be.
more sense. Well, you see freaking 98 Degrees, and although I do not wish many good things for Nick Lachey in this world, but they're still like touring, and it's really kind of sad because it's a little bit of a sad moment. You know what I mean? It's not giving.
Well, I know
It's very
Backstreet
much
Boys
like,
is doing
we need money.
too,
That's why
but,
we're
like,
here.
Yeah, it's just like unless you are successful enough that you've been able to kind of like get out of the control, but I don't know if they ever really do.
It's honestly a lot of smoke and mirrors in the industry, and I think that a lot of what we see, especially with like new people, you see people like Chappell Roan, who was independent for so long, things like that. Like you're going to see someone just emerge and then all of a sudden you see their life switch like this. All of a sudden they're living in a huge house. All of a sudden they bought a mansion and they're touring the world. All of that is like literally smoke and mirrors bought with signing bonuses that they owe forever. And it's just like, it's a lot. It takes a lot for a singer to literally be filthy fucking rich, like a Taylor Swift, who how long did she go on tour for? Like she went on tour for like 5 million years, I felt like this last time.
And also Taylor is someone, which is why I think she is respected so much in the industry, on top of just like being a good performer and everything. She's been a very smart businesswoman, like in even the whole like masters thing, she re-recorded all of her stuff so she could have the rights to it. She doesn't have like a huge team of songwriters. She's writing all of her songs. She has like a couple people that are like her go-to producers and co-writers, but she has really made it so she is getting a lot of the money that would otherwise be going to like teams of people. Katy Perry, not the same thing. Like she's always had a lot of writers,
She went straight into like the pop machine,
exactly,
and just got
where it
exploited
isn't
by it,
the
for
like
sure.
super deep personal lyrics. I mean, they definitely felt more connected to her than they do now. But specifically, this last album, I'm telling you, it's like someone handed her an album that an AI
She's like,
thing
fine,
produced
whatever.
and was
Don't
like,
care anymore.
this is a pop album in 2025, and she was like, okay.
Yeah. I think you see it with like Britney too, where just like eventually you lose that passion for what you were doing. Cause I think for a certain amount of time, it's really cool that a lot of people love it and like people show up to your shows and it's just like this really surreal, just kind of like human experience. And I think that she is over that. And I think that it could be a combination of that mixed in with potential debt in the music industry, certain things like that, that could have led to this particular moment in time. I will say though, it sucks for the fans because at the end of the day, people that are going to concerts are not filthy rich. Like a lot of people are like saving up to be able to see you live, possibly for the first time even. They never got to see you before. And then that's what they get. I do think that sucks. But anyway, that's pretty much it. That's the end of this topic. We wanted to touch on it because I think that it's interesting. You know, Lily has followed Katy Perry for a long time and we didn't get to cover the Blue Origin thing. So the fact that she came up again and it was a tour thing, I'm like, you know what? We just got to talk about her. I mean, come on.
I'm like, not the time that I want to be reminded of my former love of Katy Perry.
I know.
It's just kind of been like one of those, like, I'm just trying not, I don't know, I can't hear you.
It's hard. It's a hard time for Katy Perry fans.
Well, and I just, at the end of the day, and I think of even like one of my favorite concerts I ever went to was Halsey. Like, I'm trying to remember. I don't think she didn't have dancers. Like, no one was on stage. It was just her. And she wasn't doing a bunch of crazy shit. She was just like singing and like.
You just need someone who's exhibiting a passion for what they're doing.
Well, that's like the whole magic of live music. But also, this is like the biggest stadium tour she's ever done too. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, why would you do that now with how disconnected this music feels to what she's doing and the tour as well? I think especially jarring to see it from Katy Perry because of how successful she's been. Yeah, she might not be the one that's always been like writing and producing all the music. But like, if you're at that level, wouldn't you at least think that the people that are writing and producing the music, like you're getting the best of the best. And that's why she's been able to stay on top for so long. But it's like now they called in the B team.
We didn't though mention her relationship, and it just hit me like to Dr. Luke and insisting on working with him after all of the allegations with Kesha and everything came out.
Yeah.
And she has defended it. And I just think that she has just lost herself, and everything that made people relate to her and love her, it just seems like it's gone. And it's kind of sad because I feel like Miley at the end of the day, like it seemed like a young, very young girl who was trying to find herself for the first time because she was on fucking Disney Channel her entire young child life. Like, I just feel like this is a little different.
I think it's that she's lost herself as a performer and an artist, and like she probably, again, she's a mom, she's married. Before, she's singing about all of these things that are more relatable, like, oh, being young, being in love, losing yourself, finding yourself. Now, what topics is she going to be really passionate about that she's going to have these songs? So instead, she didn't really have much input, and like they just kind of gave her this stuff and we're like, here. And she was like, okay, like, fine, if I need to do that.
It's honestly sad to see. And I mean, the people that went to the Katy Perry tour, I've seen a lot of people be like, it was super slay. And honestly, if you felt that way, Queen, I'm so happy for you. You know what I mean? Like, honestly. But me personally, I would be filing a chargeback. I would be contacting the bank.
I probably would have been drunk enough that I wouldn't have been completely as distracted.
You would have been dead.
I think it depends on where the seats were. I don't know. I just think it didn't have to be this like crazy. She didn't have to do all of this like insane, like no stunts or anything. And the only reason I could think of why that would even be the case, because clearly she doesn't want to be doing it, and why this is also a bigger show than she even normally has done, despite it not being like the peak of her career anymore, is they're trying to make money and they're making her do it. And they're like, no one's going to come if you don't do this flip in the air. Even though I personally think it probably would have been much more successful if it had been a little more intimate and less.
If we would have gotten rid of the wires and the harness, the tour would have been
she could have stayed on the ground at all times.
It would have been much better.
No one needs to fly.
That's not what she does. She's an astronaut.
That's true.
Anyway, we have gone on for way too fucking long about Katy Perry. We need to move on. But luckily, this next topic is pretty quick. And it is one that I continue to get tagged in. I was not even going to cover this because I
didn't know that this was what we were covering.
Dude, I'm like, why is everyone freaking out about this girl? Like, I couldn't figure it out. So we're going to be talking about the girl who did the caveman method for her skin.
Did or is doing?
Is doing. She's currently in it, at this moment. Although now everyone thinks it's fake. We're going to get into the whole thing. Anyway, her name is Tia. And honestly, I was just flabbergasted that everyone cared so much. It kind of like alarmed me just to the fact that I'm like, really? Like something's like slightly out of the ordinary and everyone's like, what's on your face? Like, I just like really was unsure what was happening. Like, it just seemed a bit over dramatic in my opinion.
I was confused because people started tagging us in it a few days ago and I was looking and I was confused as to what was going on. And I think that is the main reason why it's gone so viral, is because it doesn't really make sense. Like, what she's explaining is happening and what you're seeing is like not really lining up.
Okay, so basically, to explain what the caveman method is, I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. When you hear caveman, you think like prehistoric, like not doing much or not as advanced as we are now, like pretty much not touching
primitive
something in the way that we would do it now. I feel like now we're into the potions that we put on our face
using to like 8 different products because they all do different things, and like you need this and this one has this in it and this one has this, and in reality a lot of people that will make them break out and like mess up their skin more.
And I actually believe in a simple skincare routine. Whenever I do a bunch of serums and oils and stuff, I break out really badly. And so I do believe in a very simple situation. Like, I like one face wash and then I will put on like my hypochlorous acid and a moisturizer. That's it. That's all I do. I don't touch my face more than that.
Well, and I think what a lot of people do, myself included, I'm guilty of doing this in the past, that it's like you kind of like panic buy and you see all these things and we're like victims to all of the advertising where it's like, this is gonna do this and this will do this. and you mix things that like
don't mix.
Yeah, I was like, we have already been over. We're not big into science. And you don't know that like all of these chemicals like mix and do different things. And when combined, they can not be good. And so basically people are just overloading their skin with things and you don't need it all. And you're just like causing reactions that shouldn't be happening anyway.
Yeah. And so the caveman method is like the answer to that, quote unquote. It's like the paleo diet of skincare as it's described. And it says here, put simply, the caveman regimen, also called the caveman method, is a practice of doing nothing to your skin. Sometimes referred to as the paleo diet of skincare, it involves cutting everything out entirely. No skincare products, no makeup, no washing your face. That's the craziest part. Because I'm just like, I think of the amount of oil. I'm not an oily person, especially after having kids. I'm like more dry than oily. And like just after a day, like my face feels like slimy a little bit. Like it just feels like things have gotten on it.
I mean,
like
I feel like I'm
dust.
kind of perpetually dehydrated, so that's not really a problem I have.
Well, you just don't feel the day on your face. Like at the end of the day, you don't feel the whole day on your face.
Well, the thing is if you cut out makeup, if I didn't have makeup on, I guess, I mean, again, this is very extreme. Seems like a choice. I wouldn't feel like the urge to wash my face, I guess, as much if I didn't have anything on it because I don't get greasy or oily. So
I don't get greasy or oily either, but I just, again, like I feel like the day on my face, like enough that I would just want to get a toner pad or something and just rub it, like especially around my nose and stuff. I just feel like it gets like yucky, like not like greasy and not disgusting. I just feel like I've been a lot of places. No, without makeup. With makeup, obviously I wash my face. I didn't used to. Like when I was single and living by myself, I would fall asleep in my makeup every day. I don't know how I did it because now it kills me. No, it literally, like I can't. I'll wake up at 4 a.m. If God forbid I fall asleep with my makeup on, it would have to be a very extreme circumstance. But like if I did it, I would wake up and wash my face. But no, this is like not doing any of that.
What about when you work out and stuff? Like that's when I would feel
Nothing.
like you need to, because it's like you're sweating and it's gross. And
But the whole point of the caveman method is to quote unquote reset your skin. So it's usually somebody with a certain skin ailment that wants to do something extreme to fix it. It's not necessarily a way that they're going to live their life for the rest of eternity. Like it's just like, let's try something, and that something is nothing.
It's kind of like when you when someone has like a dietary issue and they like start cutting out a bunch of foods. So like, and even fasting, where it's supposed to like have your body reset. And then you slowly add things back in.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people too can have reactions to things that they use and they don't know what it is, and they use so much shit that they're like, I don't know, is it my face wash? Is it this? I'm cutting one thing out, it's another thing. So people can get frustrated to the point of like, I'm not doing anything. And I used to literally just be like a bar soap, moisturizer, that's it. I don't touch my skin other than that because I did get so frustrated with things causing me to flare up. So I do understand that.
And that works for a lot of people, but this is extreme.
Right. So we have Tia. She's 22 years old. One of her vlogs went viral recently, and this was it. It has music, but it says, straighten my hair for the first time in years and feel like I'm 16 again. And you would think this is just her at the salon, but people focused on her skin because you can see that her skin looks just a little bit rough. It's got a lot of texture to it, some dryness, some flakiness. So people were like, are you okay? What's going on? Which I honestly, right then, I was like, mind your business. Like, I don't know. Right there, I was like, we don't ask people what's on their face. Like, I think that's so, I don't know.
When it's like, they know, like when people point out stuff that's like
that's
obvious, it's like, thanks, I look in the fucking mirror every morning.
Yeah. It just feels like so unnecessary. One lovely person commented, what's on your face? And then she responded with a picture of her, and you could see her skin texture in this. And she says, after 8 years of picking and over exfoliating, I'm healing my skin barrier by doing the one thing I never tried before. Absolutely nothing. And I can't understand, like I've experienced like so many skin issues that I'm just like, I understand the point of frustration where you're like, fuck everything. Like I do get that point. I really do.
Almost feel like that kind of was what I ended up doing, because I randomly started getting really bad. I think it had stuff to do with my back and hormones and stuff too, but that I got random acne for the first time ever. It was so frustrating. I tried so many things. It felt like it just made it worse. And ultimately, I think it did go away after I just kind of like gave up.
I'm telling you, once I simplified my skincare routine, it did help a lot. So I can't even pretend that I'm like, no, you need 1,000 products to cure you. I will say that when I have tried simplifying my routine, I am still washing my face, etc. But like, even so, even doing nothing, I can't imagine that most people would have the reaction that her particular skin had, which is this that I'm going to show you. She's answering in this TikTok to someone who said, okay, but what is actually happening to your skin? I don't get it. And this was her response.
What you're seeing is dead skin that's going to flake off eventually, while like new healthy skin forms underneath. Like there's already some patches where you can see that new skin. I've basically stopped all skincare, I'm not using any water, and I'm just letting my barrier recover or rebuild itself naturally. But yeah, for years I picked and over exfoliated and damaged my skin really badly, so it's just gonna take time. My skin is basically just shedding all the damage and attempting to re-regulate itself.
Okay, so here's my misunderstanding of this whole thing. What she's describing sounds like when you get like a peel and it like kills the top layer of your skin, and then over the next week it starts flaking and peeling off, and you're not supposed to peel it. It's really hard not to.
That's why I will never get one.
Like
I don't operate that way.
Has caused it to do that. It's not like it would have happened naturally. So a
lot of people were concerned when they
that.
saw this, because they were just like, no matter if you just stopped everything and your barrier was,
Your skin
my
doesn't
barrier
just
has
start
been
peeling
fucked multiple
off.
times. No, you don't just like automatically start shedding. And yes, her reaction I think is extreme. I think that she has something going on.
Well, because it's also all over her face. It very much looks like she got a peel or something.
It does and it doesn't. A peel doesn't look particularly like this. Like a peel does peel in a way that looks a little bit different. It almost looks like just like, I don't know, her skin is literally flaking off. Like it just looks like her entire face is just very dry, very patchy, a lot of texture. And a lot of people were telling her, hey, even if you stopped everything, this shouldn't be happening to your skin. It might be a condition. And so someone commented who's a licensed esthetician, allegedly. Of course, it's just a comment on TikTok. We don't know. But she said, hey, babe, I'm a licensed esthetician and doing nothing can help certain people, but your oils are trapped underneath the skin, creating more flaking and dryness. I recommend using an oil-based cleanser. And then they continue on to give advice. And other people were not so kind. Some people were saying this is just poor hygiene. Other people were trying to be constructive and help her. A lot of people described, like from this moment on, when she showed her face up close, the way it showed up on my For You page was like, this girl's growing fungus on her face.
Yeah, no,
that's like literally how people described her. Yeah. Like she has mold on her face. This is crazy. And honestly, from the start, I was like perturbed by that. Like I was just like, that's not what that looks like to me. But then also, yes, it does have like a gray tint to it.
Yeah, it is.
But just in general, like people were very like rude.
I mean, I've had a lot of random skin issues, I feel like, over the last few years, but especially when we first started the podcast. And I've said that when my neck would get out of place, it felt like it would pull on muscles and like the skin in my face would look weird. And I still think that I was having some kind of a health thing that seemingly resolved itself, but I did lose weight. And also my skin, I have a lot of patches, like my hyperpigmentation is really bad anyway. It felt like my skin texture had changed, like something was weird. It was really hard to find makeup that didn't just like make everything worse and just get like super cakey. And when I tell you, I was on TikTok, maybe it was Reddit, either one, not good. It was either the TikTok search bar, Reddit, or both. That was like, what happened to Lily's face? Does Lily have, and then I'm finding there's like literally skin conditions that they're associating. And I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, what's so funny is I know that there was a period of time where people did describe your skin as discolored and like almost like gray. And I was like, not them just coming for like our lighting issues. I'm just like, literally, like we're just struggling.
And the thing is like, that's why I do empathize with her, because of like, when people are telling you that, you're like, yeah, I fucking know.
Like there's something a little off. Okay,
I don't know what else to do.
There's some situations where I understand saying, hey, I myself or somebody that I love has this condition, maybe look into it. I think there's absolutely a way to say that in a nice way because you're trying to be helpful. I think most people, especially when you're just saying like, you're not being bullied, girl. That's this comment. You're not being bullied, girl. Medical professionals who see fungal infections daily are telling you it's cause for concern. And it's like, dude, like, I understand it looks a little gray. It looks a little, you know, discolored, but like, she is being bullied. She is. I'm sorry. But like, her comments are disgusting.
Her comments mix in people that are actual like estheticians and stuff that are giving valuable advice, I'm sure, that are, it's not being
just
mean.
Straight up fucking bullies.
But then there's one here that says like, bae, this is just poor hygiene. So it's like, she is being bullied. You're just not, you're only paying attention maybe to the ones that are giving her potentially valid advice.
And then what's even crazier is like, people went from being like, what the fuck, your skin is green, and like being like really messed up about it, to then just thinking that she's rage baiting and faking everything, which is a very interesting, like when I put this up as a poll on fucking Patreon, people were like, oh, like I get it, like the Caveman one, but now that I know it's all fake, like I don't really want to watch it. I'm like, but it's not fake. It's not.
So I hadn't really seen any updates since like I've first seen, which was I think that last video we watched. I know people were saying that they thought it was rage bait, and I saw a lot of people comparing it to like a volcano mask. mask, like a thin layer of
so
it,
that's
let
a
it
theory
dry,
I have,
and then like
yeah.
put makeup on top of it or something.
Yeah, so I have a video on that theory because that's definitely what people thought she was doing. When I heard that, I'm like not even joking. I looked at my phone. I was like, what the fuck? Like, have we really gotten to that point where I get it? The internet sucks and everybody fakes a lot of shit. But I'm just being honest. Like, it doesn't look like that. Have you ever worn a clay mask? That's not what it looks like.
See, I read that and I did see some videos where the condition looked more pronounced than it did in other ones, where it did look a little wild that I was like, oh. And then because we also live in a world where people would fucking do that. And it's like, I don't know why
Let's
you would do
explore
it,
that theory.
but...
I hate it and I think that it's stupid, but we'll explore it. So people, again, thought she was rage baiting. And so she started posting things like her skin in 2017 versus 2025. And you can see, obviously, it doesn't look the same. It just looks like she had skin that she was having an issue with. And then this is whatever the fuck it is. Now, people named a condition, several actually, that was like dermalogica neglecta, or like, so, like it sounds like a fucking Harry Potter spell. People started naming a lot of things that it could be. And I genuinely do think that she could have a dermatological condition. I don't know if that's that's the way to say it. But she could have something that led her to have this reaction to doing nothing. Because I could do nothing and I'm pretty sure this wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, I think that she definitely has something going on.
Your skin wouldn't just be peeling off. And then she's also saying it as if there's like an end in sight and that this is like a normal step of the process. But it's like, you're not a snake. You don't just shed your skin.
You're a lizard. Yeah. And people like that were nurses were commenting, nurse here, sis, this looks like a fungal infection, not a purge or a reset. Go see a dermatologist. And I do agree that it doesn't look like a normal reaction. I just think it's insane that people went to, ew, it's green. Yeah. Ew, you have fungus on your face. This is mold. And then simultaneously jumped straight from there to you're faking everything. I just thought it was a really weird response from the internet, to be honest.
Well, and that's why I never posted any up close of my face when it,
right?
Like, I was trying to cover it up, and it was
people were saying that she's the new Scar girl, which we covered.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, there are people that do that. So that's why people are now so skeptical. It's like they believe everything, but they also believe nothing.
Yeah, it's a really terrible time to be alive.
Also, I think if I were her, I would be mortified at getting all these comments and just like want to crawl into a hole. But if you found out that it could be something like a fungal infection, which is like something usually that is very treatable and like it would make it go away, I would run to the dermatologist.
Why wouldn't you seek it? Yeah. So a lot of people started thinking you're just like clout chasing off of this. You just want attention from it. That's why you're continuing to let this infection or whatever the fuck it is kind of ride out, you know? But anyway, here's the mud mask theory. And it actually includes someone trying what people think it was. Yep. So we could see the comparison.
Yes. If you don't know what like volcano mask is, it's like a mud mask, and it's like clay powder that you just mix water in and put it on, and it dries and it makes everything really like tight.
It usually cracks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it cracks and kind of like would peel off if you didn't wash it off after a long time.
It's a mud mask with pressed powder.
And I have both of those things. Let's try it.
I don't know how you would even get the idea to do this to begin with. If this was what she did, it's like, who would think to do this?
And there's multiple videos of her at, you know, like she's traveling or she's out in public.
Sorry, she does like a marathon or something.
Yeah, she did a marathon and like it seems so improbable. Like it just makes no sense.
And it does look pretty green in this photo, so I have a feeling that it might be this mask because this mask is a very similar color. Now, I think that she would have to add like a very thin layer, so that is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to let this dry down a little bit because when it dries it does get kind of crackly like you see in her videos.
Okay, I'm gonna jump to the end because this is quite a long video.
I don't know, guys, I'm not a huge fan of what she's doing with her skin, but I don't think that the mud mask and powder is true. I think we can maybe debunk that.
The thing is that like nothing about her skin to me gives a mud mask. That is like an insane theory. Like I can't even for a second entertain it. What is she, a special effects fucking makeup artist? Like there's no way to make it look that consistent.
There was a video that I saw that it did feel very discolored in the way that a mask that you've left on for way too long could make, but the texture isn't. It's too flaky. With a clay mask, it would have come off in more like pieces even.
Yeah, no. This is not a clay mask. There's just zero fucking way. But also if you look at this particular screenshot, you can see that the areas of her skin, like she's not like super pale white or anything. So like I think that the textures in different lighting is going to show as like grayish and definitely more shadowed, and depending on the lighting it's going to look different. Sometimes it looks green. This definitely looks like someone who's like super dry, super flaky.
What's crazy is it looks like, if I know she said she's over exfoliated her whole life and that's what led to all this, but like it seems like you could like wipe some of it off even.
Well, she says she's not touching it. That's like her whole thing, because she has hyperdermatillomania or whatever the fuck that you can't help
but like
but
I guess what did it look like after the last time she did like wash it? I don't understand how you would think that this is a normal reaction for your skin to be having.
Well, I don't think she does think it's normal. However, I do have pretty much definitive proof, in my opinion, that this is real. She says that she's gonna like introduce water now. I'm like, you haven't been splashing water?
I was like, and maybe like a washcloth and some soap.
Yeah. However, somebody found a Reddit post from her from years ago seeking help for her skin, and it looks very similar to how it looks now.
I think I have a big update about Caveman Skin Girl. That's her, right?
So it's a Reddit post, and it says, to anyone who has healed a very damaged barrier, does it get worse before it gets better?
This is the same person as that. Like same face, same chin structure, same little bumps in the lip. But this is from a Reddit post 341 days ago. And how I found this was because I have no life at the moment and asked ChatGPT to evaluate her skin condition without using the text. And when I plugged in skin barrier desquamation, like one post on Reddit popped up, and it was that girl with her eyes blocked out.
That kind of weird that she blocked her eyes out. It was like, you could still see you.
First of all, your eyes were closed, and like we still know it's you.
Yeah.
So people, I mean, this queen journalist of the century right here, she found that, but there was several comments that were acknowledging that this is proof that she's telling the truth, that she's been experiencing this damaged skin barrier for a hot fucking minute, and she scales like a lizard. And do I think that she should go to a dermatologist? Yeah. Do I think that she should be bullied on TikTok and told she's wearing a fucking clay mask? Absolutely not.
No.
It's insane. She has posted like several things of just like being quote unquote unbothered and being like, my family and friends fighting for their lives in my comments while I'm just like, you know, twiddling my thumbs around.
But like no one's,
like I
no
understand.
It has to get to you.
Of course it does, but it's also cruel. Like I think that genuinely the way that people have, I mean, even if she was lying, I think it's too far. Like, I think people have literally just like said so much crazy shit about her on top of just calling her like disgusting and like just a lot of heinous shit. And like on top of that, she's not lying. Like, no, it's just like, what the fuck is happening? I think it's sad that she posts like the trying to like be unbothered things, because it's like, I'm sure it does. Having skin stuff, like you are embarrassed. Like I didn't want to leave the house. Yes. Like much less I literally didn't leave my
else.
house on many occasions. Yeah.
So
it's
like
embarrassing.
you don't see any pictures. Like 2 years ago, look at my Instagram. There's very, very minimal pictures. Also though, someone did comment on this a little further down that she has deleted that Reddit post.
Yes, but I will say also the caption does clarify update. Tia commented on here and confirmed it's her. And then she justified her usage of Chat GPT, which I think is funny because I think maybe people called her out, but I'm just like, well, but not them cracking the case. Like, what the fuck? I was like, well. No, but yeah. So in general, I think that it is real. I think that people who think it's fake just saw like one clay mask video and bought into it. And I think that's kind of sad because it's led to bullying of a 22-year-old. There was even people being like, she's into marketing. Like she like works in marketing to some capacity. I didn't fact check that, but they're like, she knows what she's doing. I'm like, okay. Is she maybe writing this a little bit for some internet clout? Maybe. But in the end, is it really worth it? Because she's getting reamed online for people literally calling her gross and disgusting and moldy and fungus. And like, it's just so fucking cruel. I just genuinely, like, I almost wanted to cover this to be like justice for fucking Tia. Like, this is just insane.
I genuinely think it's because people like couldn't grasp what was happening because it doesn't make sense to anyone that's like, what do you mean? Like, if I stopped washing my face, it wouldn't just all peel off right away. The whole just concept of it confused people. And then it's the internet and everyone takes everything too far and also gets way too invested in things that don't involve them.
Every post says to go see a therapist. Like, it's insane what people are telling her.
See a
literally, people are like,
dermatologist.
no, but people are literally saying like, you're a fucking pathological liar and you need to go seek help. Like, that's what people are telling her.
See, I just don't even understand how
like that conclusion is reached and how we've as a society decided that's even okay to say.
Well, and not, this isn't excusing that behavior because I think that's fucked and like mind your own fucking business. But I think that is the product of all the people we've covered on the show, where it's just like people do things for attention when it's like, I don't know why you would want that attention or what you're going to gain from getting that attention. But like people want to be famous and people make shit up So now everyone is like, either they'll be super gullible and they'll believe everything without researching it all.
Or they're so jaded that they're like, fuck everything.
They assume everyone is out for clout and that's all anyone wants. And that must be what she's doing instead of not going to a dermatologist, which I think she should do, especially if it's been going on for over a year.
I think she should do, but also the access to dermatology, like even if she has health insurance, the likelihood that it's actually covered, like I just feel like...
Yeah, no, and that's like I didn't go to a dermatologist because I didn't know any money.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, are we really at the point, especially in this day and age where we're shaming people because they don't seek healthcare? Like, I feel like healthcare is not very seekable, you know?
I think people got more invested in this when people started thinking she was faking it.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, there was several comments just like, well, what's the point of covering that? It's all fake. I'm like, and I literally commented back, I'm like, but it's not fake. That's the thing. Like,
what's her most recent update?
The most recent thing she has is a 7-week update.
I feel like because all my videos are like this, maybe if I took a video from the side, you can see how my cheek is pretty much cleared up for the most part, aside from like this part. Ooh, I touched my skin and there's no clay, shocker. But essentially this makes sense because my T-zone is the oiliest and the area where I picked my skin the most. So the buildup is going to be more intense there.
Look at like around her mouth now. It does seem like it's peeling off, but that's what I'm confused about because...
I don't fucking know. I'm not a skincare expert, but also this comment is funny. Were cavemen known for their glowy, healthy skin? I'm confused. And I'm like, no, they weren't.
Well, and I've seen a lot of other comments about like, yeah, well, also cavemen didn't live in 2025 when all of the pollutants and everything in the air and like everything that we are
everything's disgusting, queen. And like, again, do I think that it would be great if she can go see a dermatologist? Yeah. But do I also know that I've seen dermatologists that have been like, here, take antibiotics for your acne, and it did nothing. And I was on antibiotics for literally 3 months. And I'm like,
totally.
I didn't even know that was possible.
I mean, and that's how many acne medications don't do anything. It's just, I think the root of all of this comes from people not understanding what's going on because it doesn't make sense.
And when humans don't understand something, they're cruel.
When they try and fill in the blanks and they try and like insert their opinions and it just ends up being a mess. So
yeah, I personally, I stand Caveman skincare girl. There, I said it. Cancel me in the comments. I don't care. Justice for Tia, and I don't think she deserves this fucking hate. It's not a clay mask, and everyone needs to come correct for my girl, because I think that that's fucked up. And let her, she's 22, let her I don't even know if I washed my face at 22, to be honest, but like, you know what I mean, like just let her live her life.
I'm telling you, I literally was basically, aside from this podcast, which like there was sometimes even a filter used for the first however many episodes because I was so self-conscious of it. I stopped using it before 100 for sure.
Yeah, Lily had to, I didn't know you were ever going to confess that. You had to wear a filter for the episodes because you were like, I hate the way my skin looks. And like people would have bullied you, and actually they still did.
Yeah, I was like, apparently I have a skin condition that I wasn't aware of, which again, like
just healed on its
potentially could have been true. I look back at pictures sometimes now and I'm like, holy shit. Like I looked ill. And don't anyone agree in the comments because I'm not opening that up for your opinion, but also pictures close up, it looked significantly different. And I look back at them now and I'm like, what was going on? And even because remember my eyelash situation?
Yeah, your eyelashes all fell out. You were under an immense amount of physical and mental stress. Yeah. You really were. And I think that's at the very base of everything. But also potentially something else could have been on top of that. I think that just in general, though, you were struggling.
Like 10 years older in pictures from a year and a half, 2 years ago than I do now.
A lot of people were not super kind to you on your journey to figuring
I wasn't kind
out.
to myself. Like it was like I didn't want to even look in the mirror. Then looking, I'm like imagining doing that at 22 and like
it's hard. Yeah.
I wouldn't be posting videos. I literally my job was to be on the internet and I wasn't. I was posting
but Gen
as little
Z's
as possible.
built different. We already know that. They're just a different breed.
Oversharers.
Everybody apologize to Lily in the comments. Okay. Anyway, we love the internet. Okay, so my we love the internet says POV, your abuela gives up chocolate for Lent, then goes crazy immediately, and it's her with a giant Cold Stone ice cream. I can't even finish a like it from Cold Stone. They're so rich.
And I'm like someone that could eat a lot of ice cream. Like I would just keep shoveling it in, but Cold Stone, it's like a custard almost.
Well, check this girl out. She was ready. She was ready after Lent.
My 40-day extravaganza.
I love her. Oh my God.
My 40-day extravaganza.
Period.
I cannot eat it all in one sitting, but I'm going to enjoy for the whole week. Thank you. You really made me happy.
Oh my God, she's so cute.
Oh my God. This is better than sex. Especially at my age.
Especially at my age.
Oh my God. I
Period
love
queen.
her. That's amazing.
My 40-day extravaganza. I love her.
That
She's my
makes
abuela
me
too.
want ice cream. What I would do to make Max do this.
Thought you could train a dog to do anything.
You probably can, but I just, it's too much work now.
Thank you. Can you do a selfie?
Shut up.
It gets better.
Shut up. He does selfies?
Okay, I guess we're doing that, aren't we? Oh my gosh, you pushed so hard on my head, dude. Look over here. There we go. That's much better. Come forward. Yes. There we go. That's a handsome guy right there.
Oh my
Hell,
God.
you're just I would do anything to have
Your
Max do that.
Instagram would be just flooded.
Boy. Off. Want to see it? Is it good?
What the?
Are you sure? Is it good?
Those ears.
Good job.
Oh my God.
Is that a Doberman?
I think so.
You know why I know that? I don't want to ruin it.
What?
Brookhouse. That's how I remember.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, I don't know why I said that. I have verbal diarrhea.
I think
It's
they
a
usually clip their
chronic
ears,
case.
so like I'm not used to seeing those are little like
like seeing them like
they'd
floppy.
be like little
Yeah.
alien antennas.
He is so cute, and you should teach Max how to do that.
I don't-
Anyway,
I don't
although
think I
Max
could,
does
but-
strike quite a pose, I must say.
He's great at his head tilts.
Well, anyway, guys, if you made it to the end, we appreciate you very much. This was, a random one, but an interesting one nonetheless.
Like it was just a stab to the heart. Stab to the heart over Katy Perry and brought back my skin PTSD.
Yeah, quite the episode. But anyway, as always, we hope you guys have a fantastic week, and we will see you on Friday. Bye.
Cheers.